I should go through. All right. Turn this volume down. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let's go. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to hit record. Don't forget to record it.
I know. I got you. It's recorded. Let's just see one more thing real quick. One more thing. All right. 1, 2, 3. Raider Nation, stand up. Please stand up. Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast here. I promise you one thing, Raider Nation. We will be more prepared than the Raiders were going into Atlanta this week playing the Falcons. I think it was like I stopped counting points at that point. It was getting kind of ugly out there in the dirty South as the Raiders lose and slide down to 6-5 as far as the playoffs go, and the division you can throw that away now, but obviously, but they have not played well. So listen, you can catch us on Facebook, you can catch us on Twitter, you can catch us on YouTube Live, and it's Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast. I'm here with Monster Mash Ken. I'm here with Sean Oahu Raider. Guys, gentlemen, how you doing today?
Well, it's not a Victory Monday, but I cut my hand at work today. Ooh. I'm still bleeding silver and black, baby.
Yeah, man. Tough to recover, but it's on to the next one. We're still in a better position than we have been in most years, and there's an extra playoff spot, so suck it up, and you better mentally drop the high from competing with the Chiefs, drop the low from getting your teeth kicked in and embarrassed against the Falcons, and be ready for a Jets team that wants to play spoiler as well.
Yeah, it's just time to move on from that game, but we have to talk about that game before we go to the Jets just a little bit. Some news for the Raiders coming up this week too. The game on the 27th has moved to the 26th as far as the game against the Dolphins. So you'll see the Raiders and Dolphins on a Saturday. They will have the last game of that triple header. Dwayne Joseph, The Rock, right? Dwayne Joseph, who is he's up for the GM job with the Lions. So if he does leave the Raiders to go do that job, the Raiders will get a 3rd round pick either in 2021 or 2022 as part of the minority hiring thing. So we'll see if that actually takes place. If it's 2 picks or it's 1 pick, we'll see what happens there. Takk McKinley did not pass his physical. He is on the IR. And the Raiders are going to just stay with him. I think that's just a way of just getting cheap pass rush. And then Josh Jacobs, of course, ankle injury, not as serious as we thought it was going to be, but still it's an injury and it's a lower extremity to a player who was a skill position player. So we're all worried about that as far as that goes. Let's see here. And then we have, let's roll over to some of the questions we have for everybody here as well. So what do we do now? Josh Jacobs is not might not go to New York, might be out for an extended period of time. Sean, I have to go first. What do you feel like? What's the role here for the Raiders here to try to get him going, to get that running game going without Josh Jacobs possibly?
Well, without Josh, you're going to have to create plays that won't count as rushing attempts, but we need to get that short screen game, tunnel screens, bubble screens, misdirection, end arounds, pre-snap motion with Ruggs and Edwards. We have full availability of our players right now in the skill positions outside of the backfield. So yes, the backfield is a strength because Josh Jacobs, but he's averaging under 4 a carry anyways this season. So guess what? There's no excuses. Booker's been a nice complimentary player. Happy for him to absorb a big workload potentially, but get creative, getting the ball out quicker elsewhere, do other things. It doesn't end because Josh Jacobs is out. It didn't end because Trent Brown was out. It didn't end because Incognito was out. We found ways to win this year, missing good players, at significant times, especially on defense, missing people as well. So you have to recreate yourself a little bit. And that's something that Gruden is kind of stubborn at times, right? He may put the ball and Booker's hands a million times up the gut. I don't know, but I feel like it's an opportunity to display other parts of your playbook that work. Going on the ball, keeping the fast break, as you always say, Dwayne. That Carr's good at. Quick snaps. Going to 2-minute portions of the game, randomly going into a 2-minute hurry up, and doing those things to not rely on having to try to drain clock and protect the ball control. At this point, the season's on the line. You got to score points. So you're going to have to play more aggressive, and you're going to have to go downfield. And sorry, Josh is hurt. That's difficult. But it's time to reinvent yourself, or else it could get bad.
Yeah, I like the point that Sean just brought up. Attacking, you got to attack. And if Josh is not able to go, if he's not able to go 100%, he's a tough dude. We saw that when he ran right through that defender and got the stupidest penalty ever. What are you supposed to do? Just let him tackle you? Anyway, that's beyond the point. But, Theo Riddick is a name that John Gruden brought up in his presser today that could be healthy. Jalen Richard was healthy. He was going to play, and he got sick right before the game started, so it kind of threw a wrench in their game plan. Devontae Booker's been one of these nice change-of-pace running backs. Now, none of those guys are as good as Jacobs, but Sean brought up a point about the yards per carry is concerning. However, Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs. He's going to eat. He eats in between the in the red zone there. You got to find ways. And if you look at when I'm sure we're going to talk about the way Derek Carr is driving and calling the audibles. There's different audibles when you have somebody like Jalen Richard in the backfield, and same thing with Devontae Booker. If I see this sweep again, the defensive that you're going up against, they already saw this. So they know you're going to do it. Stop doing the sweep. It's not going to work anymore. Come up with something else.
So you're not a fan of the jet sweep?
No, not the jet sweep. I'm talking about the end of round two, or not the end of round, but the handoff to Devontae Booker or Jacobs to the right side, and you got your tackles coming out to block. They're eating it up. It worked against Kansas City a couple times. I think it was Kansas City. Maybe it was a Charger. It was a Chargers. It was Chargers.
It worked against the Saints as well. But this defense that they played on Sunday is a speed defense.
It's quick.
So if you're it's quick. So on that fourth down, if you're gonna go for it, you gotta have a quick pass ready, or you have to go run the football right at them, where the strength is your guards in the center right behind Rodney Hudson. So bad job by the Raiders there. It wasn't really it's just all around just a really horrible situation there. And I think that what they did in this game, the Falcons did. They said, you know what, we are going to beat this team up on first down. We're going to put them in. We're going to do our best to put them in second and long situations. If the play sheet gets a little bit different when for Gruden, at least when it's third and long or second and long. So he kind of feeds off of having that short yardage situation, and they weren't able to do any of that in that game. I mean, the Falcons even what they did with the edges, like if you saw what you saw with the defensive linemen on the edges, they just smashed it they just smashed coming inside. They weren't going to let him bounce outside. And, that was really one of the biggest issues in the game. They could not deal with the speed of Atlanta.
Yeah, a quick, like you said, you hit on it. Like a quick defense, a fast defense, a lightweight defense, if you will. They're not massively big or overpowering, and our offensive line is built to be these gargoyles, these land movers, and all that. You don't want to, when you're trying to get a yard or two, you don't want your running back running 8-9 yards before he can advance up the line of scrimmage. You go right at them, or you don't. Yep. You play action pass to Waller. You use. Foster Moreau, I mean, is he not available to play off a crosshatch, cross with Waller and get him open? You do something different. So we didn't see that. That's a little bit of stubbornness or on Gruden's part. And again, just you got to open up the playbook more. You have to in that situation.
No, I agree. I think a lot of the finger pointing. I said this a few shows back, your big three have to show up on these games. And you look at what happened. I mean, nothing was going on with him because nothing was going on with Carr, and Jacobs just wasn't eating like he normally does. You give who you're playing against 5 more opportunities takeaways, if you will. I mean, they're going to score. The defense is only going to be able to hold so much. It was a bad day, a really, really bad day. I'm so glad. I was looking at tickets for this game. I was looking at flying out for this game because it's you know what? It's the last opportunity that anybody's going to have to watch the Raiders play live. Did you guys know that? Because they're not. I mean, they play in Vegas. After they play the Jets here, who they're not allowing anybody in the stadium, then they play in Vegas three games in a row, and then you got that last game in Denver. Unless Denver opens up their stadium, you won't be able to see the Raiders live this year, unless it's a playoff game, which that's whole nother topic. But I thought about going because everybody thought this was a winnable game, and it was a winnable game. I don't think Atlanta was that good, but we just gave them every opportunity to beat us. And it was a tough pill to swallow. I was in disgust all day. And isn't it crazy on how bad this affects your mood throughout the day and throughout the week? It's going to be a long week. And at one point I want to make, you go back to last week against the loss of Kansas City, right? Derek Carr probably plays one of his best games ever. It's still a loss, but we took it to him. We're one possession away from winning, whatever the story is. And you're talking about going into that game about beating the best team in football. I do think that Kansas City is better than Pittsburgh. I just think that they're a better complete team. You go in there thinking the Raiders can beat these guys. And then, we take the loss in Atlanta. And now we're talking about the Raiders possibly losing to the Jets, the worst team in football. And that just sums up the Raiders for you. Within 3 weeks, you're talking about beating the best team in football. Then you go to talk about we could lose against the worst team in football. And the problem with this season is the consistency. There is no consistency. The defense starts playing, the offense drops off. The offense is playing well, the defense drops off. It's something. Find some consistency. And then you point at Gruden at this. Like, come on, man. Make something happen. Bring it together, please.
Yeah. As far as, it was kind of like a lack of a better term, almost a blowfest for the Raiders last week, even though they did not, even though they lost the game. And I remember I was texting with not texting, but on Twitter with the Mark John NFL, and he was saying like, this is way too much credit for a loss. And I was like, you goddamn right. This is way too much overblown for a loss. It's the national media who always thought the Raiders were going to be terrible this year. And when they show out and play a very good game, then all of a sudden they're back. And honestly, no, you're back when you're in the playoffs. So that whole thing made me worried about that. Derek was talking about in the press conference on Sunday, they weren't sharp. They didn't play well. Maybe they were reading their own press clippings. Maybe they're still thinking about the Chief game. I don't know how you have a trap game when you never won anything, but that's what happened to the Raiders. It looked like in this ball game, KC is long gone. Like you need to move. You got to move on from that. Also on Twitter, this week. Today, what I did was I went back and listened to some podcasts, and looked at some tweets before the Falcons game. And I said to myself, I'm looking at all these, people getting at me saying, oh, Brandon, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Brandon Parker is a beast. Hashtag player development. Dude, he may have been Jonathan Ogden for a couple of weeks, but the NFL will humble you real quick. Let's calm that. Let's see you can calm that one down. And Gruden is in a situation where, Simpson is hurt and not playing. He wanted to sign a 38-year-old guard in Richie Incognito. So his love for veteranship is kind of something that really is holding up two roster spots that the Raiders could have improved themselves in with as far as Richie Incognito and Jason Witten there.
Yeah, good point. I mean, you at some point you got to just start investing in something, with that illustrious 10-year, $100+ million contract. You got to start investing in young players, build them, prove that you can develop them. Now, adding timely veterans is great. Almost every successful team does it, but you do that once you have a successful functioning young core. Hey, I need to borrow a Jason Witten for a season. I need to borrow Eric Harris will be my safety for a year, but behind him I got blank so-and-so that I drafted in the second round or what. You got to have levels to it. And my concern is Gruden's dipping back into what worked last time he was here. He may go. I wouldn't be surprised. We don't want to talk too far ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if the next offseason it's the same type of thing. He's going to take veteran castoffs from other teams and say,
Von
this
Miller.
is what I need. Oh yeah, Vaughn. You name it.
Write
He's
it down here.
Yeah,
No question Von Miller's a Raider.
So, those type of things could happen. I thought this year we would have added like Clay Matthews and stuff like that. But that's what Gruden, that's what he's known. That's what he's had in his back pocket. But again, like I was saying, reinvent yourself, redevelop yourself. It's okay to be wrong. For me, it's a little bit less of this consistency versus controversy, right? It's okay to be controversial. Stop relying on something that you think is consistency because we're in year 3. If Gruden and Carr do not make the playoffs with an extra playoff spot in year 3, and we're talking about maybe not getting up enough to play at the Jets right now, who it's mind-blowing. And we had this conversation all offseason, and it was annoying, right? About Carr, about Gruden, who's the guy, who's this, about all these things. But we established that, hey, this is the consistency. You got to roll out them together. This is year 3. Well, if you don't do this, how does Mark Davis react? How does the franchise react? We had 5 first-round draft picks the last 2 years. What is the expectation? That this isn't enough to make the playoffs? I don't know, man. It's mind-blowing right now.
They spent a lot of money, Ken, also in free agency to try to prove this defense, and it wasn't. I don't know if it was spent in the right way. They got, and I'll talk about the Raiders getting cute in a second. They got cute with a lot of moves, but I mean, listen, this is where we're at the point where we're talking about we're 4 quarters away from everybody talking about blowing it up, Ken. Like, I mean, it's just where we are.
I'll tell you what, man. I was referring to myself as optimistic prime earlier because I'm very optimistic. And we're not out. The Raiders, we watch them. We're not out until we're out. And I'll tell you what, though, if they lose against the Jets, oh, mama, yeah. I mean, there's no reason. You go into Cleveland and you play a game like that, and then Cleveland's a lot better than the Jets. Then you got to win this game. If you lose this game, yeah, that window is tight as somebody's asshole right there, and it's not good. It's not going to look good because you essentially have to win out and hope for help, and we just don't want that. So you go in there and you can afford one loss. I think you can afford one loss in the last 5 games here to maybe. Hopefully somebody stumbles and then you get that last spot. But Sean brings up a good point. They add on the extra playoff spot. You got to capitalize. You blow up the team. You get rid of the best players and Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack to get those 5 picks. And who's doing anything out of those 5 picks? Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that's probably about it. I don't. Yeah. I mean, Jonathan Abram is he's good here and there. You talk about the free agents, Dwayne. I like Kotowski. Kotowski is playing
yes
pretty well.
Nassif, waste of a spot for me, in my opinion. It's kind of a waste. Mariota,
too much money for him. Too much money.
Yeah,
for him.
Mariota is weird. So my thoughts on Mariota: it is a waste because it's a lot of money, but it's taking up another roster spot, which I think Sean said, and you could have got somebody else, but. At the same time, then you look at what happened with Denver. All 3 of their quarterbacks are gone. If you need, so it's a weird situation there. But as far as free agents and Aguilar's doing awesome too. I mean, if he can just hold the ball in these crucial things, situations here. The Ruggs pick bothers me now. I mean, he's got talent, but he's not going to be utilized. I think I saw a stat the other day that the Raiders are dead last in wide receiver targets.
Yep.
So why take that if you need? I just don't get that. Like Ruggs is a good player; he'd do really well in another team.
Probably.
But why take him at that early when you take a wide receiver? Edwards looks more promising as a number 1 than Ruggs does, and
I can't agree with you on that. I think Edwards is looked just as invisible in my opinion.
But that's the play calling, though.
He's a 3rd-round pick.
I agree. So, it doesn't. When you're on the team, you're on the team. As far as I'm concerned. But to me, I don't look at it. I don't. That is on the head coach. If he's not dialing up plays, like from what I see from both of them, They have hands. I know. I mean, Sean and I text back and forth about how we worry about them getting. They look a little fragile when they go down. Like they might not get up. But to me, I mean, you bought both of them in. I understand. You wanted to bring them along slowly. You wanted to have Tyrell Williams. You wanted to have Nelson Aguilar, but you didn't have that. So there's no. If that was the case, once Tyrell got hurt, go get a veteran wide receiver off of cuts. Like, what I'm saying? Do something to help. I mean, because they need somebody who's a chain moving wide receiver. Just somebody even like an Emmanuel Sanders type. Just somebody who can just 3rd and 7. Like, I understand what Renfro is, but but just somebody who can handle volumes of balls a lot of targets being thrown to him. It's hard to kill the offense because the offense has been besides this game and the horrible weather in Cleveland, they've been the staple of this team. But I mean, I think the Raiders a lot of times, I mean, just really in this offseason, I think they really got cute. And a couple spots where they got cute was, just glaring. As soon as Jacobs got hurt, the first thing I thought of was Lynn Bowden Jr., that pick. And then also, you mentioned Marcus Mariota. Like, what was the point of bringing in Marcus Mariota? I mean, he was not. Nobody picks up that offense in year one, and I thought it was a horrible pick there. So I don't know if you have anything to kind of add to that, Sean. I see you going.
No, I just feel like when we talk about we talked about it in the summer. We thought this was an excellent wide receiver core. We thought this was the best depth and challenging hard moves. Will Gafford make it? He's on the back end. We're talking about Zay Jones had a great offseason with this and that. And look at rookie wide receivers in the league right now. They are dominating. Ruggs is a whisper. He's not getting targets. We can say that's Gruden. Maybe it is. But we've seen this with Carr. We all said, Cooper has to go. So what's the story with Ruggs? Well, we can't change. You're dead last in the NFL in targeting wide receivers. Carr picked Ruggs. He said it in an interview. They asked me, who do you like out of the top 3, which was essentially Lamb, Judy, and Ruggs, which I was assuming what he meant. And he said Ruggs. So if that's the guy you wanted, you have the playbook. You can audible at the line of scrimmage. You have the ball in your hand every snap. It's shared responsibility. People can blame Gruden all they want. I think the offense is top tier in the league. It's where it needs to be. It has been. So I don't know what it is. Do I think Ruggs is a secret to us scoring more points? No. I think Waller should have been targeted a lot more against that quick Atlanta defense. I think he should have been moved and used. But to me, it's troubling that we're still talking about this in year 7 of Carr and year 3 of Gruden. We're still talking about how to get the ball to a wide receiver. Rodgers, Mahomes, outside of he does have Kelsey. That's a heavily targeted. I mean, we're talking about Russell Wilson, all these big people that pulled the trigger. They look to their wide receivers, and I'm okay with taking a shot downfield and Ruggs not getting his feet in bounds or not. We just have to utilize something there. It just looks like lost value. You invested a first rounder in Ruggs, the very first pick you had in the draft with 2 first-round picks. Why not sign Robbie Anderson in free agency? Give him the money. Sign 2 defensive players in the first round. You're not even using Ruggs. So it's a little frustrating. What we do have to remember, both Ruggs and Edwards are both rookies, okay? Picking up a hard Gruden playbook. I understand that.
No real offseason.
No real offseason, and both have had injuries, right? So that's not easy. But it's not the same excuse has been going on for
and that's
far
what it
too
is.
long.
You can't. How many times are we going to make excuses for these teams, for this team, when Gruden has? I like somebody said stubbornness of Gruden, and it doesn't look like it's working, but then sometimes it does. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to find balance between the defense, and it's not just the offense, but it's the defense as well. So if you can find a way where, Atlanta should have scored a lot more points than yesterday. You think about it, they held them to
good shit.
Yeah, they held them to a lot of field goals there.
Those field goals early.
Yeah, so we dodged a lot of bullets there, but the offense just wasn't getting together. Now, I do think that the Ruggs. It's so weird because Ruggs is a dynamic player. Can you hit him with a slant? I mean, come on. You hit him in a slant, I mean, he's going to go. And I haven't seen that yet. Every pass has been like something downfield or these behind the line of scrimmage passes and hoping that he gets clear. hit him in a slant, hit Renfro in a slant, and see what happens. But I think a lot of it is the play calling. It is frustrating to watch. It is very frustrating, especially when they throw behind the line when you're like at, 2nd and 8, or whatever it is, or third and 5 or whatever. Throw it down the field, attack the field. Maybe just let Carr eat. And say, you know what Gruden said? You know what, Gruden?
Yep.
Gruden's going to give Carr 5 plays. Each
My
down.
thing
This
is
your option. Go for it.
Yeah. My thing is my point about Ruggs and Edwards is this: in a league where you cannot blow a fart near a receiver without getting a call, they should be able to get the ball. And to me, and especially after that 4th and 3 where you hit a deep play, the comeback's got to be available. They could be playing. I was able to dip into some all 22 today and before the show. And yes, I mean, there's no question that they were even letting Waller be one-on-one with somebody to avoid Ruggs being by himself, which is like when they say it, and I want to see it, I understand it, but that's fine. But you can still find a way to get him the ball. And I feel like, especially after you, I know if I'm playing a game of Madden and I'm playing a defense a certain way and somebody hits me for a deep one, I got to change. I got to change. Right. So and that person who he hit a deep play for if he does a screen, if he does something, I gotta be careful because he might go over the top on the play. Right. You have to be, whether it's real football, fake football, however you do it. Once you hit a big, that's the thing that bothers me is like you hit a big play and then I don't see anything else from it. Let him, like I've seen plays where I've seen drives where like teams will go like Kyle Shanahan will go Deebo Samuel until
take it away. Show me.
Until he has to come off the field because he's exhausted. Like, I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So, I mean, listen, I don't want to destroy it because destroy the offense here. I mean, everybody has a kind of game like this, maybe not to this magnitude, but they have a game like this.
It's true.
This game kind of reminded me of even the Packer game last year more than that game because they were in the red zone like several times.
Just couldn't nothing.
No, they stubbed their toe. They're stubbing their toe. And I'm going to just keep it real for a second. The offense has not been the problem this season. This is the first game that this was like
first game. Yeah, I would say. So.
Yeah, I mean there were hiccups here and there, but
Patriots game maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, we're still into that game too. We could have won that game.
They were in red zone in that game too.
Yeah. So this is the worst game that we've seen in a long time, and unfortunately, it's just a bad day at the office for the offense. And I'm glad this happened before this stretch of games, these last 5 games, because maybe it's what they needed to get their asses in gear. And Carr's calling out the practice, it just felt flat to me, but Gruden saying it didn't. So Carr has got to take the reins of this offense now, I think. And Gruden, I would hope, would be like, all right, Carr, this is your time to shine. Make it happen. And air it out, man. If Jacobs is not good to go, air it out, because I guarantee you these teams that we're playing, they like to air it out too.
I gotta say a couple of things real quick about Pro Football Focus, because they're gonna try to tell, like, and listen, I'm not gonna. That's their job to, I'm a baseball fan too, so sabermetrics and analytics, I get it. To me, it tells part of the story, not the whole story.
Correct.
But to me, like, I cannot fathom how they in their situation they have Cleveland Farrell as the 13th ranked defensive end. I watch every single play of this season, and I just think there's no way and you have a guy like Trayvon Mullen who is 77th ranked corner. No, it's like, what, your rankings are that's just piss poor. Like, I mean, like, that's basically saying Trayvon Mullen is a backup corner in the league.
It was funny about that too. Is now they put it on the media. It's on the nationally televised Monday night, Sunday night football. They put their PFF scores under their name. The eye test is different, right? To me, it's like looking at someone's resume. Your resume could look good for a job, but can you actually do it? Like, look, what is actually happening? You can have the keywords and the experience, but like the PFF, the way it works is very strange. And I think that's a struggle. Because
what algorithm are they using? Like, what
it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the player, right? Just imagine being like Farrell, being like, I'm not playing that well. I haven't done what I wanted to do, and like turning on
13 Beth.
Oh, well, actually, let me call my agent. Hey, when my rookie contract's up, you better.
I was just gonna say that.
You better bring up. I'm the 13th highest ranked pass rusher in the league.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's a weird, and it's not just for the Raiders. I was looking at from some of the other teams here too. It's just it doesn't make any sense. There's no way that you're taking that many cornerbacks above Trayvon Mullen. There's just no way. And then there's also 13 more.
Yeah,
I'd
say 26 more defensive ends that I take before Farrell, and I like Farrell.
Exactly, yeah.
including the one who's playing right now, Carlos Dunlap, who has 2 sacks tonight.
And he had the game-winning sack last week.
So, 5 sacks since acquired.
I think it's 5 sacks.
They couldn't pony up the money for that. I mean,
he had 0 in Cincinnati because he was on a bad team and didn't want to play on that team. I totally get it.
That's Mariota's money right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Raekwon McMillan.
Who?
Gotta have those. Gotta have. I'm still waiting to see a Raider fan with a Raekwon McMillan jersey on.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Dude, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Please don't.
If anybody, it'd be Ken.
It might be me. I did get my my home.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
My home Crosby jersey delivered the other day. So.
Warranted.
Well, Crosby's fine. Yeah. Warranted for it. Crosby's amazing considering he has nobody on that line to get pressure besides him, and he's still going to get 10 sacks this year. The playbook, Gruden's playbook here. So things that I don't like or things that I do like. One thing I want to I want to see is it's a tendency. It's a big tendency. The only time they ever go deep is when they're around the midfield area. They never take a shot when they're backed up against their goalpost. I'm not saying do it from the end zone, but hey, you get the ball at the 25-yard line, you can just like Gruden said, you're allowed to take the ball away when you're trying to get the shot at the defense. You're allowed to throw the ball deep in that moment. And I'm not trying to be stupid. I understand that deep play is not open every play. But if you send people deep, the folks you have underneath, like Renfro, like Waller, the Golden Child, like all the people have an opportunity to get some plays there. And Derek will put the ball. He's pretty good at putting the ball where it needs to go.
I think that's a great point because if you look at a lot of teams, that's when they call a shot. It's either when you cross midfield or when you're backed up, because that's typically when you're going to get a more aggressive look from the defenses. They're being more advantageous for the turnover in your own territory. As to where when you start crossing the field more in between the 20s towards the scoring position, things tighten up. So there's more opportunities there. I agree. I would like to see that kind of on a first down basis too. You show your run look, you look for a man matchup, whether it's Ruggs or a Waller, you move them outside and things like that. And I think that goes to what we saw in the Atlanta game. I thought an interesting part of that game was when Waller went deep left, out wide as a wide receiver. The throw was a little behind, but Waller dropped it. He dropped it. That's on Waller. If you're this heralded, I'm the top 3 best tight end in the league, Kelsey, Kittle, all these other guys are catching that ball. So he did not catch it, but he beat his man easily. He had 3 steps. So why don't you go back to that? Those are the plays you have to call. We need a 70-yard touchdown, a 60-yard touchdown. Gruden's offense is very methodical. It's efficient. It has been working because it kind of highlights Carr's strengths. But at the same time, let Carr throw the deep ball. Let the Carr throw the deep ball with the back to it. Give him a little extra protection. Let Booker, this week chip and take the shot. Like Dwayne said, pass interference. I watch these games. I roll my eyes. I'm like, are you serious? I would hate I would hate to be a cornerback in the NFL. Like, I would literally, how do you even go back to the film room and be like, I did something wrong? I had my hand on his shoulder pad and I was flagged for not even 15 yards at the spot of the foul. College football, you just get the 15 yards. So in the first down, but so it's just crazy. Take the shots, let Carr display his arm strength. And the season's on the line. So also, what are you going to do? It's 3rd and 4. You're going to like do a halfback draw to Booker and then punt when he gets stuffed. That's not going to help.
One thing I did like, you open up the playbook, and I liked that they were using Renfro a lot more because he's underneath there. I mean, Aguilar's he's getting open downfield, and then that fumble. I should when Carr got his arm hit, I think it was Ruggs downfield, man. He had him, and they just needed a split second more, and that was a touchdown.
Brandon Parker.
Was it? Yeah, Brandon Parker. Right.
Parker.
Who was the MVP?
Jonathan Ogden right there.
It is frustrating because I do think I agree with Sean. Just open up that playbook, man, and it is time to let your balls hang.
And they've been good on 4th down this year, right? I mean, they've been pretty good on 4th down. So like,
I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, the minute I saw when they went for 4th down, and I was like, and I saw the sweep, I was like, oh my god, are you seriously running a sweep against this team? That's really not gonna work against that front. I am quietly hoping, and this is probably the masochist in me, but like I'm quietly hoping that Jacobs does miss a couple of games.
Doesn't or does?
Does. Because I feel like you can't.
Pass game is a strength.
You cannot You cannot sit there and try to just. And I mean, sometimes you gotta. I'm not anti-rush to rush the football. I think you can rush the football all day and all night. That's fine. But there's games where you can, when everybody is expecting to run, you can pass to run. Send people down the field, and then intermediate you have Waller, and then if somebody's not, you can check it down to the running back. Booker has shown that he can make people miss, and he can go. So I'm almost kind of hoping that that dependence on Jacobs kind of isn't there when we go to New York and play the Colts after that.
I'm gonna disagree with you on this because you need your big three to perform. You need Jacobs to set up those passes and that play action. I think I read another stat that the Raiders are doing like top 5 or something like that in play action. And then another stat that I saw was minus the Kansas City game. Every game that Jacobs has scored, the Raiders have won. So minus the last game, Jacobs still scored, but they didn't win. So think about that. I mean, you need Jacobs in the red zone. I mean, he's a banger, and I think maybe they switch it up and maybe they do something like what they did with Justin Fargas, where, Justin Fargas was in between the 20s and then you had that bruiser in the red zone. So maybe Jacobs becomes that bruiser and then you use your scat back or Booker in between the 20s or something. And then that lightens up the load for Jacobs to stay healthy. But, running the ball is not going to be it unless you're trying to run out the clock. You got to throw the ball. You got to throw it downfield, and maybe that's the Richard coming back. That's going to help with that. I would hope.
Richard would definitely help, Sean.
I think for me, kind of the things you guys are highlighting about the run doesn't have to be first. It doesn't. You can run the ball. If I'm looking at an offense around the league, which I've watched a lot because I love watching Aaron Rodgers, and we have baby A-Rod. Jeez. But have you seen Matt LaFleur's playbook? He's got Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams in the backfield. Have you seen how they are able to run the ball extremely efficient, but that's not what they're known for. So they set it up. They like Scantling, whatever his name, Valdez Scantling. He can fly. He's a little bigger than Ruggs, but they use him like big play mentality, kind of like we use Aguilar. They flex these positions correctly. And it's like Carr is a very smart developing quarterback. Like the way he sees the field is similar to like a Rodgers, but obviously not the same player. But why can't we do that? Why can't Jacobs be he's running when he's on a passing down and we just keep the defense at bay and take our shots downfield? Like when I watch that offense, I'm like, holy shit, Josh Jacobs would eat if we did this. Instead, it's Witten, Carrier, and Moreau on first down. Yeah, obviously, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, there's 8 in the box. Like let's let the guy just get smashed 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, break 2 tackles for 3 yards. we did it that last year to him, and we broke him down at the end of the season. And look what happened this year. The same thing. He's getting hurt towards the back end of the season. So you need to. There's balance is the word we're using, but offensively, I think there needs to be a little bit more like tact from Gruden there, where he can sense and feel. Let's use the pass to give us better options when we want to run the ball. Instead, it looks like let's run, let's get to the play action, and then let's take our shots. If we see that, I'm pretty sure NFL defensive coordinators are like, okay, they want to establish the run first before they'll take their shots. Now it's 3rd and 8.
Atlanta saw that.
What are you going to do? Atlanta did. They used their speed,
Yeah.
and they didn't have the interior type players that could stop us. And I believe Rodney Hudson is a strength. Gabe Jackson is a strength, and Denzel Good is he's not a strength, but he's freaking every bit of 6'8", 300 whatever pounds he is. So it's a little backwards in the philosophy. As successful as the offense has been, I think they just need to look at things a little differently.
I think this game could have been a game where this is definitely a Richie Incognito game where they missed him in this game because he's that beast up the middle, and you can see them getting penetration up the middle. And Jacobs couldn't go eat in this ball game. The penalties were just. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's really weird. None of us mentioned, I don't think, that Josh Jacobs fumbled twice.
Did he?
You know what?
Was it once or twice? Was it twice?
Well, it was reversed, but he definitely fumbled.
It was a fumble.
Okay. It was close.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing about that?
Absolutely.
I will say one thing. I like Josh Jacobs.
Yep, me too.
As a man, as a player, no question. If I was running the team, would I have drafted Josh Jacobs in that moment? I have to go back and look at that draft. I have a philosophy of I'm just not taking a running back in the first round. I mean, just me. I'm not mad that we have Josh Jacobs. And I also think that he is also a guy who gets the ultimate free pass from Raider fans. Like if he fumbles, nobody sees it.
Nobody criticizes him.
Yeah, nobody criticizes him for anything because they love him. He talks to Marcus Allen every week. Like we have this undying love for Josh Jacobs, and I'm not saying he's not a good player. I think he's another guy who's underutilized. I think him in the passing game. I saw him run post patterns in the SEC, and Tua put it on his numbers.
Yeah,
if it's 60, 70 yards down the field. So you could use that too if you're struggling to get wide receivers open as well. So I do. Yeah, he did put the ball on the ground. I think that should have been the sign to see. When you see that, it's not going to be a good day for the Raiders when he puts the ball on the ground as many times as they did. And like I said, like I am a car guy, but Ken, he can't put the ball on the ground that many times on every time they get sacked. Jacobs
has
tough.
Jacobs has 3 fumbles in his career. Okay. I'm not going to knock him on that.
3 lost fumbles.
3 lost fumbles. So, I don't know. I don't know where you're going with that. Maybe he is utilized. Maybe he doesn't have that complimentary back, but he does look for contact. Obviously it shows because he went after whoever he killed in that game, but that's just the way he plays. He wants to run through MFer's face like beast mode does.
Good. Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, you got to hold on to the ball and the security's got to be there. And I thought that the game plan was to get this guy 60 catches. I don't see this happening. That would be awesome.
Happening.
If they could do that.
That's when I say underutilized. I think that he is who brings Josh Jacobs down with the first tackle? Nobody.
Nobody.
So if it's a 2-yard pass,
and that's
boom.
What 7, 8 in the box. Yards. If you get him in a pass, he's normally going to be looking at one quick decision to make someone miss. It's easier. And he goes, it's easier.
He never takes negative yardage. He never takes negative yardage. He's a perfect back for that. You get him on a linebacker. The guy is just his stiff arm is incredible as well too. So I just want to see more. If you're developing the wide receivers, and there are a couple of plays where I definitely give Ruggs and Edwards credit because they are football players. They don't mind blocking as well. Yeah. They blocked very well.
Good,
especially on that screen, on that little tunnel screen to Renfro on the left side.
Great.
Ruggs got in there and was blocking for his teammates. So I think both of those guys are down for that, which is always good. But I mean, you know, for as far as everything else, as far as Josh goes, I like him, but like I said, I like him. He's on the team. I don't hate. I'm not trying to start anything with Josh Jacobs.
No,
Josh Jacobs
me either.
fans.
Me either.
But me, I just have I've seen so many great running backs come through the pike who have not been drafted in the first round, and they've been wildly effective and really good players. And I think and he's a blue chipper. So to me, you ride with him as far as you get, as much as you can, because he's a special player. But
well, let's stay. I want to stay with this though. I want to stay with this because you brought up. We had 3 picks that year, and you know they take Furl, which don't even go there. Furl, then Jacobs, then Abram. Right? Wasn't DK Metcalf in that draft? Was he in that draft? I think he was. And then Trayvon Mullen was early the next round. So
yes.
Yeah, and I was hoping that they would have taken DK. I really was, because he was a freak, and it just looked like a Raiders player that they would take. And look what he's doing. Look what he's doing tonight. You know, so I think, you know, you look at maybe not taking Abram. You know, maybe you put that. I don't know. Where were you thinking in the second round? Is that where you're looking at Jacobs? I mean, would he have lasted that long?
I'm looking at. I mean, second round. You know what though? The thing about it is, like, everybody you talk to. I mean, Deebo Samuel's sitting there in the second round too, at the top of the second round as well. But everybody you talk to knew the Raiders were taking. Knew John Gruden was taking Josh Jacobs. So would he possibly have been? But then my favorite pick in this draft is Trayvon Mullen in a lot of ways. And, you know, is Trayvon Mullen going to survive the second round? Probably probably not. According to PFF, he's going to survive to the 8th round.
Yeah, he's not undrafted.
Probably going drafted. So, you know what I'm saying, as far as that goes. But look, Dayton Johnson from the Steelers goes in the 3rd round. I mean, you can get really dynamic players, you know, if you know what you're doing. I mean, in our lifetime, have the Steelers ever had a bad wide receiver core?
Oh my God!
But that comes down to coaching, and I get where you're going with it. But it's they took the marquee running back, who is now, if not Derek Carr, he's probably the second face of the team. And I think it does go down to what Gruden is doing with him. I mean, he should not be averaging the 3.5, 4 yards a game. He should be averaging a lot more, and he should be averaging a lot more catches. So you look at guys like Christian McCaffrey.
People are geared up for him now, though.
Yeah, so. And it's got to work. Dalvin Cook, you know, he's not the type of player like Derrick Henry is, I don't think. You know, Derrick Henry is just off the charts. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm not sure what human he is. He's not.
Yeah. I mean, he's the DK Metcalf breed. You know, it's just like it's craziness. But I don't have a problem with where they took him. I do have a problem with where they took Furl, seeing the aftermath and where we're at. But
Furl is the biggest one. It just kills you. Looking at who went after him, like. It destroys you. I mean, it just kills.
But he is ranked the 13th best defensive end or whatever you said it was. So it does justify. PFF justifies that pick.
Even if you want to double up on tight end, I mean, Hawkinson was there. Fant was there. You have Brian Burns, who I loved.
Brian Burns is solid.
Gosh. Yeah. You know, I love that player, dude. He's a phenomenal player as far as that goes. So we only got a little bit of time left. So let's roll through and go from Atlanta. Leave dirty South. Brush it off our shoulders. We gotta see it. We're on a plane.
A-town.
Back to Vegas. Back to Vegas. Going to Jersey. Going to your neck of the woods now.
Yeah.
So because and one thing I want to say real quick is shout out to Sean Oahu Raider. 10 for 10. It lasted a long period of time, but listen, that's hard to do. That's so hard to do. Picking 10 games in a row for any team as far as that goes, but. The Jets, I don't care if it's by hook or crook, as they used to say. I don't care if it's by 1. I don't care if it's by 55. It might be wet. It might be wet and nasty. On Sunday in New York, but God knows. I mean, you cannot lose a game to a team that is pretty much last in everything. 32nd in offense, 27th in defense, 31st in passing, and 26th in rushing. I mean, they scored 3 points against Miami this week. That probably means they'll probably score 18 against the Raiders. You got to find a way to go ahead and win this game and get back right and get ready for the Colts.
No, I agree. I mean, it's going to be like 30% chance of rain, and it's been on and off here. So
okay.
They needed this loss to get right. And I think if Derek plays with lasers in his eyes like he did that Kansas City game, they're going to be all right. He's just got to take control. There better be pressure. Something weird, though, that's happening this year. I mean, you look at this week, they couldn't stay on the East Coast. They had to travel back. They practiced Wednesday, Thursday. When did they fly out Friday after? It's just weird. It's a weird situation.
They probably would have stayed out East this year. They probably would have stayed out East if it was a normal year.
Yeah, so it's a weird situation, but if you want to make the playoffs, you got to win this game. You got to win these games, man. Oh, yeah. So, Sean, what are you thinking?
I'm just concerned. So two of our losses early in the season, Bills and Patriots, right? That's the Jets' divisional foes. So, just on October 25th, the Bills beat the Jets 18-10. Okay. On November 9th, the Patriots slipped by the Jets 30-27. Our Charger AFC West rival beat the Jets 34-28 not too long ago, 2 weeks ago. So don't let record, don't let stats, don't let what they're ranked at, scoring, defensive, whatever. You really have to pay attention to the fact that this is scary. It's almost like a little bit of PTSD, like callback from last year. We were 6-4. We went at the Jets and we got stomped. It was almost similar to what happened with the Falcons, right, this week. So you really need to.
After that,
we finished 1-5. You can. We've already talked about it. I don't want to, kick a dead horse, but you talk about losing to the Jets or finishing like 1-5 this year with what we have on deck as far as talent is super difficult. Now the weather thing is hard because we already know like it's hard to win in the snow for any quarterback. It's hard to win in bad weather. Like it's just hard, and our division isn't based in that so much. But Carr is just like Gannon. They both struggled a lot in snow and cold weather. This is going to be likely an ugly game, which the Jets game was last year too. So for me, it's, what you're walking into, no excuses. If you have to, beat us over the head with a short passing game to make things work, then do it. Just play to the strengths of what the weather gives you, of what the field presents to you. You lose to this Jets team, man. I'm it's just hard for me to look at. I just feel like it's hard. Like my confidence is not high. Like I'm not like
nobody's is.
I'm with you, Dwayne. 13-10 win. I'm happy. I'm with you. Like however we do it, but I'm like looking at it and I'm like, hey, like our defense misses tackles left and right. Like we're talking now. We have a wet cold field.
A lot of people get hurt on that field, man. A lot of injuries.
How many times? How many times did a Falcon offensive, whether receiver or tight end or whoever, jump over or miss or force a tackle? Like I mean,
it's just bad coaching. It's bad coaching.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, like they can't see what you know about this defense is one thing. They can't sustain it. If they're playing well for a quarter or
which
half,
they did. Yep.
Understand this. They cannot maintain it.
No.
Because their coach is not very good, and I'm not sure how good they are. But like at the end of the day, like they can't control that. So I knew that the second half was doomed when we didn't score coming out of the break. I was like, this game's done. Like this game's absolutely done. So first quarter, kickoff defense. When the defense, even when they play well, they still give up points.
Yeah,
little 3 points, 3 points. Those things add up. So they add up. So I mean, it's a lot of work to get done. I'm feeling as the week goes on, I'm feeling a little bit better about the game. But yeah, I mean, listen, they're in a situation where like I'm talking about I'm talking about running the table. I'm not even talking about losing one more game. Like this is a lot was on the line for this team and this organization. They gotta run the table, man.
I agree.
To assure they're gonna make the 10-6 might not be good enough, guys. I don't know how you feel about 10. This might not be good enough, Ken.
No, I think you're right. I mean, with the way Cleveland and the Colts, Miami, they're right there. It's gonna be tough for everybody.
And we play everybody in front of us.
Well,
you can't ask for a better schedule.
Well, listen, if they do go, let's just play devil's advocate here, and they do go 10-6. I mean, is that a successful season?
You gotta be in the playoffs.
I mean, what if they miss the playoffs, though? I mean,
well, if you look at the Colts schedule and look at I know Cleveland's playing pretty good, but their schedules get a lot tougher. Miami's schedule gets tougher. So there's been some talk about 10-win teams. Yeah. I think a 10-win team will make the playoffs.
Yeah, we just got to take care of business. Just take care of what's in front of us week to week. And right now it's the Jets, and there is no reason.
Oh God.
No, and you know what? If I'm the Jets too, why win this game? Why win this game? Like just.
Oh wait, no.
Good point.
You know why go out there and risk it? Just play soft. Go for the best quarterback that's coming out since Andrew Luck. In my opinion. So yeah, I just we need this win for morale, not just for Raider Nation, but for the team. And you go in and then you look at what's ahead of you after that, and it's going to be tough. But we're at home in 3 games in a row, which is great.
Yeah, and I think one thing that all of our last opponents are all AFC West, or AFC Conference, excuse me. So
everybody in front of us is a play we play.
Like you said, it's just these matter so much. I mean, these matter so much. Telling tales time for the future. I mean, our slogan, our mantra, our Al Davis carryover, "Just win, baby," could not mean any more significant than what it means right now. Or else we're talking about the same media headlines we faced this whole past offseason. So I don't want to go through it again. Give me 10-6 and at least give me a playoff slot. But
give me a week. Give me a week where I can dream. That's all we're asking.
We beat Phillip Rivers twice last year, so Indianapolis Colts defense is tough. But I trust Carr Smarts to get us in the best play before the free snap. Like as far as the Jets, they're an 0-11 team. That was a great point, Ken. Like look, it might be close to halftime, but they might be, you know what? We really need that Trevor Lawrence guy. And they could very well feed into that. They probably already are thinking that organizationally. The Chargers, they might want to be a little bit of a spoiler. They want Herbert to display his arm as much as possible. I think they'll be a more aggressive team than we face. Dolphins, I don't know. That's a weird
prime time Saturday night, man.
Prime time Saturday, and then you end it at Denver, who probably will by then at least have quarterbacks they can play that actually play quarterback. And,
my God!
There's nothing in it for them. So
the race.
If you screw this up, it all will bleed into the media and it will bleed into the offseason about how terrible of a finish this was.
Yeah,
we've only given up. The Jets have only given up 3 more points than the Raiders.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
I'm just letting you. I'm saying they've only the Jets have given up 322 points so far this year, and the Raiders have given up. No, actually, I was wrong squad. Sorry, wrong squad. It's still close though.
You were looking at PFF.
Probably. The Jets were three. The Jets have given up 322 points. The Raiders have given up. Against. No, I was right. 319.
Yeah, you got to think though too. Who we played with these high-powered offensive, Tampa Bay, Kansas City twice, New Orleans. I mean,
still,
it's scary. They got to win. Just win. Just win. Just find a way to win. Just find a way to win. Just find a way to win, baby.
Win and come home.
Yeah. Just kidding. I don't care what happened. It's no excuse. I mean,
stab somebody if you have to.
And that's just that's gonna be the most embarrassing. This week was bad, but I can't imagine the nation after that, man. That's gonna be really bad.
It's gonna be coal in everybody's stockings this year if we lose to the Jets.
Tough game to watch. And I don't know about you guys. I get more emotional in games we should win than games than other games, as far as that goes.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. I get really upset about that. Oh, how are we? How was Thanksgiving for everybody? How's everything going with that? Christmas shopping done already, or what?
Not for me. A little bit of everything's, giving all our money to the billionaire Bezos, Amazon, sending
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, the Thanksgiving was great. Just shout out to everybody out there. I feel my family, I'm just blessed, man. We have our jobs, we have our income, and this pandemic's crazy. So just happy for what I have. I'm trying to give back. But Thanksgiving was wonderful, and I'm looking forward to Christmas with family. So things are what it is. December 1st tomorrow, believe it or not. So it's like
crazy.
it's crazy, man.
It's good. I was off the week, and got to see my daughters the whole day because I'm always working, and it was great. The turkey dinner. What do you got? What's your favorite dish during Thanksgiving? I got to ask. I got to go with mashed potatoes or macaroni and cheese.
Dwayne, answer. I asked him this last week.
So for me, I mean, like Jamaican household, and I'm sure, and you work with a lot of Jamaicans, Ken. So we got oxtail. But oxtail is if you have all the trays of food, the oxtail goes first. I mean,
really?
It gets emptied out. It takes a long time to cook. It tastes incredible. Yep. And I mean, the gravy. People will. Here's how good it is. There's no more meat in the tray. At Thanksgiving, people are pouring the gravy on their macaroni and cheese and their rice because the gravy is so goddamn good.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's unbelievable. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I like the weird things. Our turkey was great, but I love green bean casserole. I love it.
I thought you were gonna say spam and fucking pineapple and rice.
No, that's like. Absolutely not. But yeah, I love the green bean casserole, and then every Thanksgiving I normally make like single cut lamb chops. I take a rack of lamb,
nice.
And that's our appetizer: rosemary, garlic, lamb chops, and then with a little side of mint jelly as the appetizer while I was watching football, drinking beer with the family. So that's what I like, man. I like a little bit of everything.
Well, before we cut loose, I know you mentioned something about the plays that we're going to talk about, right? Real quick, the plays we didn't like.
Play we didn't like. Yeah,
I want to throw a play out there that I think kind of the Ruggs deep pass where he once again can't get his feet in bounds right. Yeah, that could have been a touchdown. That could have been something because we settled for a field goal. So that could have been a momentum.
That's not Ruggs, though.
I don't know. I don't know.
Still,
I didn't like it.
I mean, I'll say this.
I hated it.
He's twisting and spinning on that play. I don't know.
I'll say this, and I'll guarantee it. Tyreek Hill scores a touchdown there, and people are comparing Ruggs. Oh, we got our Tyreek Hill. We're adding that kind of player. Well, Tyreek Hill scores there and throws the deuces up and does a backflip on that touchdown.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not saying it wasn't hard. Oh my God! But I'm just saying
I can't do it. I would have.
Gruden. You know what's scary? Gruden has already said right. He needs to work on his footwork around the sideline. Well, who's the last wide receiver we had who we traded away, a first-round pick from Alabama as well, who Gruden also said needs to work on his footwork on the sideline? Amari Cooper.
We have a wide receiver coach, so handle that. Like, I don't want to hear that.
The wide receiver coach ain't gonna move his hips and his feet. That's him, man. That's
that's it. I mean, but to me on that play, I mean, you get the ball to the 3-yard line, score a touchdown.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are right. Regardless, Josh Jacobs, when he's in those situations, he hits the pylon. He does it. So
it was a nice catch. He did have a couple nice catches there, and we got to get this guy going, and I hope they do. And if we're talking about this whole show, air it out, and this is the guy that you drafted to air it out with Aguilar.
Air raid offense, Aguilar, and you use them. They have
a sweet at every level of their team offensively. They have a sweet player there. So hopefully they take advantage of that. Hopefully some of these guys who are practicing on Wednesday actually end up playing, like Trent Brown, people like that.
No, Trent Brown's not going to play. He said he's not going to play. He'll be practicing, but he's probably not going to play. Which sucks.
he already said he's not playing the Jets game.
Yeah, Gruden said that today.
Oh my God. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job.
Yeah.
picking that guy up. That's
Nothing's on the line.
Unbelievable.
Right? Nothing's on the line.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
I hope I'm
But
wrong.
as far as-
I'm hope wrong, but that's what he said.
But, I mean, yeah. Well, hopefully.
I believe it.
hope-
I believe it. I believe it.
I know, dude. Just. I mean, he's just. I mean, please, just. That contract is just eating a hole in my heart as far as that goes. All right, Ray Nation. 17-6 Raiders win against the Jets. Bad weather game. Just like in Cleveland, they find a way to win that game, hopefully. What do you guys got?
I think Carr goes crazy, man. I'm going to say 28-17 maybe. I think the defense kind of gets it together. I've kind of seen it in spurts. They're getting it together. But I think Carr's going to play pissed off, and he's going to throw 3 touchdowns. Jacob scores 1. And, I think the defense kind of continues what they're doing because they're growing together. Nicholas Morrow, come on. We didn't talk about him at all.
We didn't play great. Absolutely.
Yeah. That linebacking core is even Littleton. He played all right. Yeah,
Littleton, he did.
He played all right. So if Furl's there, the top 10 defensive end in the NFL, Furl's there and Crosby's there. Mo Hurst is getting it together. I don't want to see more of what's his name?
Peterman.
Willie Collin. No, Peterman. No, I want to see Peterman. I want to see Peterman if we're up in 4 scores. That's when I. So what are you thinking, Sean? At score?
I think I'm looking at this similarly to the Browns game. Bad weather. We know it ahead of time. That's something that Carr struggles with. But against the Browns, I picked him player to game. He used his legs when he had to.
He was good.
He did, and the stat line doesn't show that, right? So PFF, might rank him last quarterback in the league that week. But regardless, I that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it won't be pretty. It might be like a 23-17 type of win for the Raiders.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be just doing enough at the right times to get the win in that bad weather. We've never had Carr in a bad weather game in this offense just show us something. So to me, it'll be just enough. And we can argue about how good or bad we are next week.
Yeah, God. If that's the case, man, I might take a vacation.
Cover 3D Raider Podcast on Twitter, on Facebook, YouTube Live, all that good stuff. And don't forget to hit us up on a text line, 858-429-9465. Sorry if I know I had some questions for you guys that I didn't get to. We'll put them back next week. We'll see.
Next week.
We'll see where it goes. We can see you next week. All right, guys. Take care. Deuces. Raider Nation. See you next time.
Let's go Raiders.